and his advisors around me don't like the stuff that I'm doing, but I just go directly to my father. If I got questions, he'll take my call anytime and make himself available for what I need and the things that I'm doing.
Hunter Biden proved his point a few days later when his father came to LA to give a speech.
I'm middle-class Joe.
Here I'm exchanging messages with Hunter. May 2nd, 2017, I'm coordinating with Hunter on the meeting with Joe. Hunter sends me a message. Dad not in until 11. Let's meet and Jim meet at 10 at the Beverly Hilton where he's staying. Okay, 10 tonight. We'll see you at the Beverly Hilton. Let me know if anything changes. Then later that night, I let him know I'm on my way. I'm here. Are you guys in the bar?
The meeting lasted 45 minutes.
So I literally haven't been back here since I actually met with the Bidens, and Joe walked across through the lobby with his security detail. Hunter, Jim, and I were already sitting here sort of positioned behind this column. They've redone some of the bar.
After the meeting at the Hilton, Bob Alinsky and Jim Biden crossed the street to meet at the Peninsula Hotel.
I basically spent 2 hours with Jim, and I was very concerned about how they were doing this. And after I walked through my concerns, I just distinctly remember, Jim looking at me and getting a smirk on his face, and like a slight chuckle, and just saying, plausible deniability. Those two words clearly define how the Bidens operate, how they do business.
A few weeks later, on May 13th, 2017, Gillier sent an email explaining each partner's share of the new company. Quote, the equity will be distributed as follows: 20 for H, meaning Hunter, 20 for RW, meaning Rob Walker, 20 for JG, meaning James Gillier, 20 for TB, Bob Alinsky, 10 for JB, Jim Biden, and 10 held by H for the big guy.
Who could the big guy be? If it isn't Joe Biden, I would love to debate that with anybody.
Another email sent the same day was called Expectations. In it, Gillier laid out salaries for all the partners. Hunter and Bob Alinsky were both set to make $850,000. 3 days later, an infuriated Hunter wrote this: I will need a hell of a lot more than $850 per year on a month basis. And this is my own personal problem, but I'll make it yours also, I'm sure. Bob Alinsky responded, H, we have to pay a team of people who'll be working 100 hours a week. To which Hunter responded, Tony, they are both coming to be my partner, to be partners with the Bidens. He has implied that the number one has made that clear and available to him. According to Bob Alinsky, number one is a clear reference to Chinese President Xi Jinping. Hunter continues, come on, man, we both want the same thing. Just happens that in this instance, only one player holds the trump card, and that's me. May not be fair, but that's the reality because I'm the only one putting my entire family legacy on the line. In a private side conversation, James Gillier tells Bob Alinsky, Tony, I ain't that stupid. Know why Yi wants the deal and what makes it enormous. It's the family name in reality. They could have asked for 51%. Bob Alinsky, acting as the CEO, decided he should get 3 votes on the company board so the Bidens couldn't overrule the other business partners. That infuriated Hunter Biden, who lashed out over text. Hey, Tony, I have an idea. In light of the fact that we are at an impasse of sorts, and both James's lawyers and my chairman gave an emphatic no.
When he said my chairman in that text, he was referring to his father.
As the process went on, the business partners became more paranoid. Gillier sent Bob Alinsky another WhatsApp message. Quote, don't mention Joe being involved. It is only when you are face to face. I know you know that, but they are paranoid. Bob Alinsky replies, okay, they should be paranoid about things.
Joe was used as sort of the brass ring, once again, the Biden franchise, the implied understanding that, he was aware of what Hunter and Jim were doing.
Ultimately, Sinohawk failed. The Chinese never delivered the operating capital. Amid a Chinese corruption probe, Director Yi disappeared. He's never been seen again. CEFC was dismantled, and yet somehow the Biden family still made millions.
I later learned that Hunter Biden and Jim Biden had defrauded me, and they had actually altered documents. They had actually taken a copy of Sinohawk Holdings documents, used the exact same document, removed Oneida Holdings from that document, and put Owasco, Hunter Biden's law firm in place to be the 50% owner of Sinohawk.
The Bidens allegedly cheated their business partners and took the money themselves. So far, the justice system has ignored Tony Bobulinski's claims and evidence.
My understanding, looking at bank account records and what's been made public, is Hunter Biden received over $5 million across a period of time.
No responsible investor would ever hand money to Jim or Hunter Biden. Their only value, and their personal texts make it clear, came from their connection to Joe Biden. On the basis of that connection, they made dozens of deals all over the world, mostly in foreign countries famous for corruption, places like Kazakhstan and Ukraine and Romania. But as the Sinohawk scandal illustrates, no place delivered greater dividends than communist China.
I've been writing books on this subject for more than 10 years, and I've seen a lot. I've focused on Democrats and Republicans, presidents, members of Congress. The Hunter Biden one is the worst.
There's no journalist in America who spent more time exposing corrupt politicians than Peter Schweitzer.
I'm Peter Schweitzer. I focus on exposing cronyism and corruption at the highest levels of power in Washington, D.C.
The highly anticipated book by conservative author Peter Schweitzer.
This new book, Clinton Cash.
Major donations from foreign countries to the Clinton Foundation.
We first ran across Hunter Biden's business practices in 2015 when we stumbled across an account on a Chinese blog. There were pictures of Hunter Biden meeting with the equivalent of the heads of China's Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, JP Morgan, head of the Federal Reserve, and the Treasury Secretary. And we were immediately sort of stunned by this, wondering, Hunter Biden, who we vaguely heard was a lobbyist before his father became vice president, why was he meeting with these Chinese officials?
I'm the Vice President of the United States.
And what we realized is that Hunter Biden was starting to secure deals really within months of the point that Barack Obama, then President of the United States, literally appointed Joe Biden as the point person on U.S. policy towards China.
Had great meetings with a good friend, President Xi.
That's when you realize that something is up, because as in comedy with corruption, timing is everything.
If I only got to hear you sing, it would have been worth the trip.
China is a rival power that is trying to supplant us in the international scheme of things. So the scale of money that we're talking about with China, I think puts it in a category by itself.
Schweitzer and his team had a breakthrough when they got access to a copy of Hunter Biden's laptop.
We took the laptop and we actually compared it to publicly known sources of information. The Secret Service had released Hunter Biden's Secret Service travel records at the request of the U.S. Senate. So we took the laptop, mentions of trips and travel, compared it to the Secret Service travel logs. They lined up completely 100%. It was impossible that the laptop was fake. We identified 4 businessmen in the laptop. All 4 of those businessmen have links to the highest levels of Chinese intelligence.
就是我们在美国的权势核心圈啊，我们有我们的老朋友。
These are not guys in China that run potato chip factories.
其实呢，就过去这个30年啊，过去40年，我们在美国的他的这个利用他权势核心圈，是不是？
The Bidens got some $31 million from Chinese businessmen with links to the highest levels of Chinese intelligence. That's not even in dispute.
但现在呢，现在我们看到拜登上台了，传统的精英、政治精英啊，这个建制派，他们跟华尔街的关系是非常密切的。所以大家看到吧
Hunter Biden has nothing to offer a Chinese businessman. He provided no service in return whatsoever. So that immediately raises the question of, what are these Chinese officials paying for? And that's when you go on red alert.
拜登的儿子被特朗普说你在全球有什么基金公司，发现没有？谁帮他建的基金公司啊？明白吗？这边都有买卖啊。那么
Imagine for a second, during the height of the Cold War, Ronald Reagan's family, or Jimmy Carter's family, is receiving tens of millions of dollars from Russian businessmen with links to the KGB. I mean, there'd be alarm bells going off in Washington, D.C., and rightfully so.
I've never spoken to my son about this.
He's not providing any remotely measurable service in return for what amounts to tens of millions of dollars that the Chinese executives have given